EMI shielding is often used in PCBs in medical, communication, and military fields. EMI shields are often used in the input, output, or amplifier stages, as these sections of your circuitry and product are more vulnerable to EMI. In EMI shielding, critical circuits are covered using some sort of metal shield that protects from the radiation and absorption of EMI. Designers then connect that EMI shield to ground to transfer all those interferences or noises to the ground plane. I'm going to show you how you can import mechanical parts into your PCB design file to use them as mechanical EMI shields. Over here in the visibility panel, when you're in the 3D canvas, you have this category here called mechanical. This is listing all the mechanical parts in the design that are not included in the bill of materials or the net list from the schematic. You can use this plus button here to add any other mechanical part to the PCB design. So if you hit the plus button, you'll get a file browser where you can browse out and select one of many types of standard 3D mechanical models. So you can pick a step model, an IGES model, a SolidWorks model, whichever type of model you like. For an example, if I were to pick this step model here, it's going to import it in the design, and it's just going to place it somewhere inside the 3D canvas. It doesn't know where you want to place it. But once you import and place something, you can either select it on the design canvas or from this list over here. Once you have that component selected, over in the properties panel, you will have an accordion called 3D location with different controls that you can use to manipulate and place that 3D model. Since this isn't the model we want to use, I just used that for an example. You can select your right mouse button on any of these things you've imported and choose to delete them to get them out of the design. Now, if you choose to include these types of shields in your schematic and in your bill of materials, then these components will appear under the 3D model mapper tab under mechanical components here. So you can kind of think of it as these are things that are not part of the schematic and not part of the schematic bill of materials. Over here, these are things that are in the schematic, but considered mechanical components in the schematic. Sometimes people want to have them in the bill of materials, sometimes they don't. That's why you get both ways. So from here, if you go to mechanical, and if you were to select, for example, that shield, you can see that shield is highlighted, and then you have the controls over here where you can associate and move that with the board file. So if you go into manual, for example, you get a nice drag bar that you can drag and move this thing around in 3 dimensions. Or if you choose auto, it's going to try to automatically snap it. And then you have other controls where you can choose to snap a face from the 3D model to the top of the board or to the bottom of the board, or you can rotate it in the XY axis. Let's take this example here where if the shield has been added but it's completely rotated off the wrong incorrect XY axis. Down here you can use this control and you can say top, and then you can pick a side of the shield that you want to snap to the top side of the board. So I'll pick this side of the shield. You can see it then snaps that facet of the shield to the top side of the board. You can do that for bottom, or you can choose any XY location if you want. So that's a really good way if you have some mechanical surface to specifically exactly align the two faces. So with that, that gives you the ability to import and add and manipulate mechanical shields inside of your PCB design. Thanks for watching.